Good evening. Welcome to Investigator News, and this is supposed to be my day off, but boy, I'm jumping in because we had the debate tonight, and so boy, debate news. Uh, yeah, I hope y'all watched it, and if you didn't, go back and watch it. Uh, who won? It's a toss-up. I'm gonna say Harris held her own and Trump defended himself. That's where I'm going to go with it. But boy, I took a lot of notes. I've got a half a tablet full of notes that I took. First of all, how did I learn about Camilla Harris? Well, I lived in California, and her and Dianne Feinstein and Pelosi and Barbara Boxer, boy, they teamed up to do away with the guns. They wanted to push the abortion. They even went after abortion clinics. And then her love affair with Willie Brown and Judge Joe Brown, I think his name is. He's even jumped in and said, "Joe, yeah, she was known in California. This is how we knew her. I'm not going to hide nothing. We knew her that she slept her way to a perfect DA spot and then to a Senate spot. But she jumped on the robes and the clothing of Pelosi and Feinstein and Barbara Boxer. Is that how you get into office? You sleep and you get in with the certain people that mean something to the state of California. The things they did to California folks with her and Feinstein, and you got to include Barbara Boxer. A lot don't know about Barbara Boxer. They don't know much about Willie Brown and her. How many abortions did she have? That's something I'd like to know. State of our nation. What's the state of our nation right now, folks? Price increase. The poor is one thing shopping at Dollar General or the dollar store. It's another when the middle class start doing it. The censorship. I'm one. Karen and Mary could tell you, or even William, how bad I was censored. Why? To tell the truth? A lot of it was over the Clintons. I didn't lie. I didn't lie about the Clintons and the corruption. In 2020, this administration weaponized the DOJ to go after political people. She could have went to the media. This whole thing. I watched the whole debate and I said, "Wait a minute now. She could have went to the media and said she's against Biden's administration's choices and the choices they made." But she didn't do it. Why? Why didn't she mention tonight that she didn't agree with what Biden was doing? And when we look at this election, this is, I wrote these notes down before the debate. In order to have a secure election, we must have rules and laws to protect our vote. Not get this. Today, Republican Congress and senators came before the mic and said there's going to be a bill to block migrants from voting. And she's behind it. She's behind it to let migrants vote. Why? Because they have IDs. If they got an ID card, they can vote. Well, no, no, no. Why should we have people from other countries deciding our vote? It's one thing to have the military in bases and all over the world, they are able to vote. It doesn't mean the citizens of those countries can vote. The other thing is that it got to me kind of before the debate was, and I wrote down in a note, it was, why would they falsely label um, Tulsi Gabbard, RFK Jr., Elon Musk, and a few others as traitors or terrorists when Bill and Hillary sold us out to the China in the 90s? They're okay to do that. They're okay to be what they have done and sold secrets out of Arkansas. We know this is what it was under Whitewater. But because Tulsi Gabbard and a few others say, you know what, we kind of like this other guy. We don't really like this Democrat Party. It's gone wrong. And today, in front of the mic, 20 Democrats said, this isn't our party anymore. Now, come the election, folks, we need to watch Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, Nevada, Georgia, North Carolina, and Arizona. Those are the key stakes. Those are the deciding factors of who wins and loses. Today on the Facebook page, I posted election pre-election polls, and I think they're pretty right. And what I've seen today, right before, and many other polls, that this is the key factors. So, like I said, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, Nevada, Georgia, North Carolina, and Arizona. We got to get these states on board so we don't move into what we're seeing as a socialist, and they call it social. It's social programs, folks. That's what they're offering is social programs, which is socialism that leads to communism. Now, now? Republicans and Independents and Green Party are more capitalists. What's that mean? That they want the people to be able to make money to sustain themselves. Now, 30, 40 years ago, it was something different. It was, for rich and millionaires and billionaires to be able to make out, and the bankers and the people to suffer under their watch. Not now as of today. Today it's they are building the middle class and to sustain themselves by owning their own businesses. So when we look at this debate tonight, what will make America better, safer, and what will cause growth? That's what matters to the American voters. Let's put the debate aside. The measly voter, which we are, we're just measly. We're just a speck. Because politicians don't care about us until time to vote. That's what pisses me off. Because we don't matter until it's time to vote. And so when you listen to them get before the mic, Madam whoever president, when they speak, when Congress and Senate speak, that's what matters, folks. And if you don't watch it, you're going to miss out, because that's where they put all this stuff before to be voted on. And what does the measly voter want? We want a better country. We want to be happy. We care about our families and friends. We want a safer country. We see crime uncontrollable right now. And what else do we want to see? Growth. We want to be able to see that, if we now that prices are so high, maybe drop some of these prices so that we can afford our rent, our mortgage payment, the prices at the grocery store. Why do this administration and their voters choose to ignore the faults and bad choices by their politicians? They can see what they want, they hear what they want, and they side with them. What are they siding with? Higher prices, higher insurance costs, higher rent, higher everything, because it'll make this country better, they say. And it's okay if the Democrats make really bad choices and they go along with it. But if a Republican has faults, they lose it. They fall down in the streets in protests and they'll burn down buildings. What do we see right now? Migrants storming grocery stores. Why? They're hungry. And this is the first time in history in 2020, when we seen states wanting to succeed. There was 5 of them. And California, Texas were the biggest. California was split almost in basically 60 to 69% before they shut them up and said, no, you're not going to get your own state. You're not going to become Republican. What's the one thing I seen tonight? They're weak on foreign policies. They're weak on Congress and Senate. They're run by the squad and their values. The squad, who is that? Radical Democrat individual politicians. They're weak on the border. They're weak on the border. And what do we see today? 3 states that said enough is enough. We need limits. We can't keep taking all these people into sanctuary cities. There's no more. There's no more room. These are Democrat governors saying this. One is Illinois, saying we can't do this no more. Was that even addressed tonight? I don't think so. Boy, I got lots of pages here, folks. I'm gonna be here till all night. I don't know. The economy. Oh, I'm going to bring up the middle class, she said. Well, what happened? The administration shut down the middle class, the housing, the families, the small businesses. There was no tax cuts. Oh, what about the tax cut? Oh, we're going to get the millionaires and billionaires. Remember that in 2020 when they had their DNC thing? Oh, millionaires and billionaires. We heard that in 2016. We've heard Bernie Sanders screaming millionaires and billionaires since the 70s. My dad showed me. Let's cut them. Let's cut them. Let's cut them. Let's get them. Oh, yeah, let's get them. What did it do? He's been there, done that, never did nothing. What did it help? Well, now they're mentioning it again. Well, show me Kamala Harris. Show me Kamala Harris. What cutting the taxes or raising the taxes or going after millionaires and billionaires did do any good. Oh, that wasn't there tonight. This administration, inflation is the worst in history. Due to the Biden pandemic. Oh, yeah, wait a minute. She said, oh, Trump did that. Yeah, Trump did that. No, 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 because we find out through Wuhan and China and the World Health Organization. Oh, yeah, the Biden administration was over there, and the Bidens were over there, and Obama was over there, and Hillary Clinton was over there, and they were all supporting Wuhan. Oh, it's a monkey thing from some out of the way restaurant. Monkey stuff. So what did they do about it? Oh, it was Trump's policies. Okay, remember the stack of stuff he had to sign at the very beginning? Oh, I'm going to do away with this. I'm going to do away with that. Why didn't they do away with everything Trump did? Tell me that, Kamala Harris. Why didn't you do away with everything Trump did? Why come back now and blame him for it? Where's your foreign policy? Oh, yeah. Oh, the unemployment rate was Trump's fault because of the pandemic. No, 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 no. I get this. The unemployment only went crazy in 2021 and business closures in 2021. Now, where did I get those from? Bar Rescue. Oh, yeah. Thank you, John. What's his name? He said 2021, because of the current administration and the pandemic, unemployment rate went crazy. It skyrocketed. Everybody lost their jobs. We had to wear the mask. Remember, everybody, all those restaurants, all those bars, everything had to close down. 6 feet apart. For what? A simple flu. Boy, I'm going to get myself taken out tonight, I tell you. Business closures went up in 2021. Where was Trump? Wasn't Trump gone? Wasn't there a new president and vice president in 2020? Yeah. So I went and I looked, and Bar Rescue was right. In 2021 is when the unemployment rate, when everybody lost their jobs due to the pandemic. That wasn't Trump. Wasn't Trump's policy. No, that was the new regulations by the World Health Organization and the Biden administration. And who's part of that? Kamala Harris. Tariffs. Oh my God, people, tariffs. Wasn't that the big one tonight? Okay, what are the tariffs? When Trump was in office, he said, y'all got to pay. We've paid out. Time for y'all to pay. And what did Kamala Harris say? Oh, because of that, because of the tariffs, the American people had to pay for this. No, 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 no. What did the tariffs do? It made China and other countries pay for what they owed. It caused their people to pay, not ours. John Tapper, I believe. Taffer. Thank you, Karen. Don't be sick, Mary. We have played politics, folks, for how many years? And if you've watched my show, you've known since the late 1800s when the Democrat Party formed. It was going to be a one world order, a one party rule. When the Whigs came in, they said, "Oh no," Democrats said, "Oh no, 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 make it out of the Whigs." And they have been bound to determine to do away with any party, independent, green. They hate the Green Party. They hate the independents. Why? Why? Why do they hate them so bad? Why do they hate the Republican Party? So what? It's a different, everybody's allowed to have the choice of how they want to live their lives. That's what this is all about. Freedom. Freedom. That's what our country is based on, is freedom. And get to the tariffs. Understand that tariffs are not, we pay out tariffs, and we were the only ones doing it for the very long time. And when Donald Trump got in, he said, no, 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 everybody's going to pay their fair share, which should be. Now, under the Clinton administration, the tariffs were very important to the Clintons. This is where I first learned about tariffs. And they said it would be equal for all. If everybody paid straight across, the world would be a better place for all. Well, then somehow between the Clintons and now, it's got flipped. That's saying if there's tariffs due by other countries, that the American people are going to suffer. Why? Because they're going to quit sending stuff to us. Well, no, it's because they got to pay their fair share. And of course, the wine's going to go up from other countries, and that's where we kept the manufacturing here. As long as we have our own manufacturing, we have our own oil, we have our own sustainability. We don't need to worry about the tariffs of manufacturing from other countries. I hope, does anybody understand this now? Because I want everybody to understand the tariffs, because she lied tonight. She lied. Why? Because she knows nothing about foreign affairs. And if you watch my show, I keep saying this administration doesn't know how to do the foreign affairs, and this is part of it. Oh boy. Okay. The chips that were sold. They were saying about the chips. Now, if we are looking at anything being sold to China through companies, in our military AI, well, we got to go all the way back to the Clintons first. They were the first ones to start selling stuff. And then it's not really us, Taiwan. Most of Taiwan has got China on the island with them, or in their country. And these chips, they let Taiwan uses them with China for further AI, as far as military and electronics. Now, if you watched my show the other night, you would see that we're finding out that not only is Taiwan sharing these chips of information, but we've got Raytheon. What about Boeing? What about other places? What about other politicians? What about politicians that have lovers that are spies that we're finding out that are Democrats? And through this whole debate tonight, I was waiting to hear her say or separate herself from the Biden administration. She never did. So everything that has happened in the last few years, since 2020, she is in full support of. What about abortion? Okay, that was a big thing tonight. About the 9 months. And the one thing that she was big on was that she wasn't a part of up to 9 months. Well, wait a minute now. Her the workers, her top aides, her advisors, Congress and Senate, she's all in agreement with them up to 9 months. And the other thing was, she said, oh, there's never been any issue with this, and it's never been put before a state or us of killing a child after birth. Wait a minute now. Um, Pennsylvania and VA had 3 cases where the doctors actually did have to ask, because Virginia had to come forward with the governor and make a decision on this. It's in the news. Yeah, you Google it. He had to think about this. And of course, the doctors and nurses don't want to do this. My whole thing is, what about adoption? Why, and this is something that was mentioned by Trump's daughter-in-law. They said if they're going to go 9 months, don't go there. Let's not go to 9 months. How about at 6 or 7 or 8 months, the mother decide, I'm going to put the baby up for adoption. If she don't want it, let someone else have it. And that's been Trump's opinion or decisions on this. He's not up for the 9 months. But it's up to the mother. All in all, and I agree, I'm going to agree with the Democrats. It's up to the mother. That's what it is. I mean, when we look at that 9 months and the governor saying, wow, and the doctor saying, wow, the nurse is saying, wow, and the mother saying, do it. It's the choice of the mother. But why not say, you know what? Let's put a law in place. If the mother doesn't want the baby, then okay, let's put it up for adoption. No one's saying anything about incest and rape and all that. Both parties agree. I've seen it so many times when they got Congress and Senate, they go before the House and they're speaking. Both sides say the same thing. Incest and rape, it's a very bad experience, and the mothers don't want these kids. Let's let them make the decision by, let's say, 3-4 months. I mean, still, if you look at an embryo at that age, it's heartbreaking. But let's not heartbreak the mothers under these extreme, horrific crimes. So really, if we look at it for let's look at the not Trump, Harris on the abortion. Let's look at Democrats and Republicans. We all agree. Incest, rape, no. Let's let the mother decide, and let's do it quickly. And reparations. How out of control is reparations? The colleges? Oh, yeah, let's give everybody college for free. It's never been a thing. Those that can afford colleges go to the best colleges. They pay thousands of dollars. But then there's community colleges like I went to for archaeology. And I was able to go through for over a year for free. I could have went on. I did biblical archaeology is what I did, and archaeology. And then after that, I was like, no, I can't really afford it. Or what about slavery? When we look at my opinion on this, folks, we owe the Indians. That's how I look at it. Because, when you look at the movie Roots, or you look at other movies on slavery, and I love African American people, their own people sold them out. They were sold, not only was it African Americans, but it was those over in Europe. British were selling slaves. They were buying slaves. They were going to like Easter Island and other islands, grabbing as many of the people they could to enslave them. The British did it way worse than we did. Shouldn't the British pay for reparations? But it's a big thing because they want to pay for college. If we pay, and they said, oh no, the people that's already owes, they're going to pay for theirs. It's just these new people, everybody from this year on. Well, that's not very fair. But not only that, but then it gets put on our state and federal taxes. And she wants this. Harris wants this. So it's an increase. So far, everything I've mentioned is an increase on our taxes. Where's the tax cuts? Millionaires and billionaires. Yeah, they're going to pay for it. What about this criminal stuff of those coming over the border? My whole thing is she sidestepped the whole thing. She's like, well, in my past, and senator and DA, and I prosecuted them. Okay, that's not the amount that's coming over the border. When we have states, we have countries around the world saying enough is enough. There are too many migrants coming through. Where is the number that's going to stop this? And how many do we let in? Now, does she know for a fact everybody that they're letting in is going to be an upstanding citizen? No, because we got them sneaking over. And like I mentioned earlier, these migrants are now storming grocery stores because they're hungry. And yes, it is true. It is true. It has been in the news over and over and over again on NBC, ABC, CBS, Fox, CNN, MSNBC that these people are eating dogs and cats. They don't know the difference. They're from a country that dogs and look at some of the Indonesian countries. Dogs and cats are a delicacy. So is monkeys. Let's not lie about it. Let's just not lie. Oh, well, they're not doing that. How does she know? She hasn't even been to the border. She's the border czar. Why? And even Bernie Sanders said, let's bring DACA back. Bernie Sanders is in a disagreement saying enough is enough. Now, when you have your own Democrats coming forward saying we've got too many, we need DACA, we need laws, we need something to stop this. And going to this administration and saying stop. What did they do? What did they do? They decide they're going to give $6,000 to all the migrants to make sure they get back on their feet. I did a thing on missing kids the other night, folks. And it's not that I feel sorry for all the migrants, but I feel sorry for the moms that came here thinking that this was freedom. This was going to be the best country ever. They were going to be able to make something. They were going to be able to live. They can't even find their own kids. Because why? This administration has caused their kids to disappear. And the bad thing about it is who supports this with them. And as I've investigated and looked into it, it's not just this Biden Harris administration with Pelosi and Schumer and Congress, the Congress, the Senate, and the squad, but we got Bush and McCain and Cheney. That are support by George Soros. That this is a one world order. And in order to make everybody equal, we need to take these migrants in. Do we want a one world order? And how many times you've heard this mentioned? But early Papa Bush, one world order. Everybody's been talking about the Clintons, McCain and Cheney. All of these people have been talking the one world order. George Soros. We have had so many governors, 10 governors. Some are sanctuary cities that are now claiming that there's terrorists and cartel that are taking over their gangs in their cities. Colorado, Aurora. It's not just there though. Now they've destroyed our country, but according to Europe and Cyprus, um, Hungary, Britain, they're destroying theirs too, and they're looking at us saying, "What the hell?" Pardon my French. And what did she say tonight? Oh, we've done so much. No, they cut law enforcement. They cut the military. They cut the National Guard. They cut DHS. They cut ICE. They cut the Border Patrol. They have cut every type of policing in this country they could possibly cut and encourage protesters to burn down police departments and ICE departments, to tear down our national monuments, statues. What's the point of tearing down Martin Luther King? What was that about? What about Benjamin Franklin? What did he do that pissed him off? Oh yeah, it's got to come down. And Pelosi and the squad and Harris all going, yeah, yeah. The Democrats weaponize the FBI, the CIA, the NSI under Comey. She blamed Trump. Oh yeah, you weaponized a certain criminal departments to go after us. Wait a minute, wasn't Mar-a-Lago raided? But what happened to Biden House? You know, if he had stuff there, what about the Clintons? Why didn't they ever storm the Clintons' compound or house under Whitewater? They should have. What about when she, with her, with everything going on with Hillary Clinton, when she wiped away all those emails? Why didn't they storm her house? Wasn't she a criminal? Well, they did in Mar-a-Lago, and what'd they find? Zero. And she talked about fracking. Well, of course, she's got to go for one of you got to go with oil, coal, or fracking to sustain the electric windmills and the solar panels in the cars. You got to have something to back this up. And she thought, well, fracking ought to be good, you know, uh, because coal is dirty, and oil they don't want no oil. Well, what does fracking do? We've learned in Arkansas, fracking causes earthquakes and volcanoes to erupt because you're digging down and you're playing with fire. What's oil do? It releases the pressure. And I've learned that doing earthquakes and volcanoes with Dutch sense. When you pull the oil out, it relieves the pressure of the center of the earth. That's what he told me. When you frack, it causes earthquakes and volcanoes. Or is that what she wants? Did she really even look into it? Did she look into climate change? Oh, well, yeah, we're all going to die in 8 years. Mm-hmm. I can't read my writing. Um, and folks, they talk about democracy. Their democracy is social programs. Social programs will cost us. What we need to do is build up under a capitalism to build up people to be able to sustain themselves with businesses. And they talk about the solar, with climate change, solar panels and the wind generators. They only last 6 to 8 years. Then they have to be replaced. But also, it takes a 5 to 20 acres of land to be able to put this stuff in. As they're trying to, they say, preserve nature, they're destroying the land with solar panels and wind generators. Well, when they come due to a million to 1 to 2 million per item, or per a few of them, that goes to us to pay in higher taxes, federal and state. Because if you're in the state that has them, you're going to pay the taxes. And of course, to ease the states, the feds will be taking it out of your checks. Let's frack. And so, let's go with solar panels. Let's put them on our roofs. Let's go with the wind generators. But you know what? We got to have little substations to recharge. Takes lots of batteries. Well, the batteries aren't good either because it takes up space. And they're also very expensive. Now the car manufacturers are having issues. The cars are catching on fire. Cars are uh, deciding on their own, they're just going to do their own thing and run to the right, run to the left, and let's just blow up. Now the car manufacturers are refusing to make any more electric cars. Was that mentioned by her tonight? No, she just thinks it's all fine and dandy. But when you have car manufacturers say, we're not doing no more. And back kind of to the border, 56 wanted terrorists are missing in the United States. These are known. This is where, now we have more than that, folks, but 56 are the 56 are the ones that other countries have looked at as, oops, these are bad guys. These are known leaders of little terrorist groups here, ISIS, Taliban, Hezbollah, Hamas, Houthi. We want them because we're going to kill them. We want them because they were so bad in our own countries that we want to do away with them. And the whole thing with January 6th, folks, okay, they wandered around. I watched it. And the whole thing is, it was an insurrection, they say. And she was all upset about this. What about the bomb outside of the building that she was in? Whatever happened about the bombs? There was one for the Democrats, one for the Republicans. I think there was a third one. Whatever happened with the bombs? Wasn't she afraid there was a bomb outside her building? Wasn't that more important than an insurrection at the place down the street? It's so big. And tomorrow's 9/11, folks. And the squad is so against, these Islamic extremists, they have feelings too. and making that 9/11 wasn't so bad. And I don't know how many times I've heard Democrats say January 6th was way worse than 9/11. I don't know. When I watched those planes hit those buildings, it brought me to my knees. It brought a lot of people to their knees. January 6th, I was like, what the heck? We got a bunch of rednecks walking around looking at statues. Really? It's worse? Where was the hearing and the investigation into 9/11 that, oh, Pelosi and McCain and all them were all going to be looking into? See, who is responsible? No. January 6th is more important. And they say they want to turn the page. They want to turn the page for this new administration that's going to be bigger and better. Or bigger? No, 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 no. We don't need bigger, bigger, bigger. And then, when I seen today that hundreds of migrants given IDs real quick, ones that was flown in, bussed in, whatever, they've given IDs to be able to have a wonderful life here, being able to vote. We got to get a hold of our senators and our congressmen and say, don't allow this bill, or no, I'm sorry, please allow this bill to go through and vote against this. They want DACA. Bernie Sanders wants DACA. And then I seen a Democrat today come through and say, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done with this. The Democrat Party is not the Democrat Party from 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 80 years ago. This is a crazy, almost an Islamic extreme. And this is what got me today. They have gone so extreme that their own party and a lot of the older Democrats don't recognize. And they were saying, we need less of rules. We need less migrants. We need less government. They were about having social programs to help the poor or babies in need. And she said, where did it grow to this? What happened? What happened to the party? Well, it's this party has been that way for decades. Same with the Republicans, folks. We got radical Republicans that want to side with some of the Democrats to push agendas. Why? Because, okay, when you look at a lobbyist, this is where I think the whole problem lies. When you get politicians that buy into stocks, insider trading, and they start getting companies that want to, hey, I'll give you a whole bunch of funds if you'll support me. You'll push our company, push our agenda. And that's what they do. And then when the company says, oh, you know what, we're going to, we need to make a little bit of money, we're going to go under, I think. I think we're going to bankrupt. So the stocks drop. Nobody sells anything, but when it drops, they buy up. And then, boom, another bust. And they say, there's our money. And then what does the company say to the politicians? Thank you. No. Politicians should never be allowed to be have their political agenda swayed by big pharma. What about the World Health Organization? What about the car manufacturers, bankers? What about, she mentioned Goldman Sachs. You know what Goldman Sachs said? Not even a few weeks ago. We're in a depression because of this administration. I don't know if we'll see a recession for uh, for at least 2 to 3 terms of the next presidencies. Did she lie? Yes, she lied. The bankers are saying we're not. This isn't a recession. We're in a depression. There has been uh, everything, the prices, the economy, the climate, everything leads to we're in a depression right now. And she said, "Oh, well, I'll get us to a recession." That's what brought my attention. I said, "Oh, wait a minute. It's going to bring us to a better recession? Really? Did you just agree with Goldman Sachs that we're in a depression? You're going to bring us to a recession?" She slipped there, folks. She slipped. Because when we have the bankers and the huge economists and manufacturers say, this is the worst the economy's been in history. I'm sorry. Now, J.D. Vance, he was mentioned a few times. He's real good pals with Pelosi. Man, I'm going to cough. I didn't want to start coughing. Um, he's with Squad. He's pushing socialism. And what's socialism? um, social programs, folks. Social programs. This was mentioned by Reagan. And you know, we have had so many economists, bankers, military, other world leaders say Reagan had it right when he wanted to push everything forward, and he differed. And how many, there was so many times, folks, when he came out, when Bush said, let's do a one world order, and Reagan said, no, no, I'm a capitalist. I agree that the United States ought to be strong, and I believe that the United States needs to have everybody um, become wealthy in their own way by their choice. Waltz, I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you, William. It's Waltz. I'm sorry, not Vance. So when we're looking at um, um, Waltz, her VP choice, we're looking at a gentleman, folks, that is looking at socialist ways. Now, socialism, you got to understand with how I've looked at socialism into, let's say, capitalism, socialism, and communist. Well, there is only, because of the Marxism, that's where I think Trump was right on this. He said, your dad was Marxism, you're a Marxist. It's a socialist to a communist way. So it's not, it's only, I mean, just pull a hair out and you're from socialist to communist because it's a stepping stone. It's a plan. You go from okay, we've got our voters. We're going to push them to Marxism. We're going to push them to socialism. Give them all the social programs to where the government controls you, and then boom, you're communist. And it doesn't mean we're going to be like China. I don't want to. That's what people don't understand. We're not going to be like communist China. It's just going to be they're going to control everything. There. How many times? Well, what about the debit cards you have? Well, let's do away with cash, and we'll control everything by your bank. Well, if you do something wrong, You can't use your money in your bank no more. That's communism. What about um, if you decide to go to work and you're paid by, they're going to use this whole credit system, and they say, nope, you know what? Because we don't like the way you treat your kids, you don't get that money in your account. Everybody loves that we're going to a no cash society. Okay, what about, hey, let's have DoorDash deliver our food tonight from Walmart. Walmart says, no, sorry, you're on the shit list with the government, and we're not going to deliver. We're not going to let the DoorDash have your stuff, and DoorDash isn't going to deliver. And you know what? It would give up on Uber taking you anywhere, because when you've been banned, and your money ain't there. It starts happening. Uh, I could. Me and William probably got so much to say tomorrow. I know that he's probably has a lot to say. And when we look at her and foreign affairs folks, and she said, "Oh, I went here and here and here and here." I I don't know how many times world leaders laughed at her. They didn't want to talk to her. She went to Mexico, and they ignored her. Remember Obama? This is what got me, and I thought, how disrespectful. I mean, I didn't care much for Obama, but when Obama went to China, he got off the back of the plane, and it wasn't really the red carpet he thought he was going to get. Why? Because when we're looking at the administration under Obama, Biden, Harris, China thinks we're very weak. And we know we're weak. Did she ever go over there? No. Did she ever do anything about the border? No. Did she ever really get anywhere with foreign affairs? No. They scoffed and laughed at her and thought she was a joke. Why do you think they sent Biden? And then Biden was a sleepy little guy that, I'm going to eat ice cream and y'all do what you want. Um, so they looked at us as weak. We have proven me and William doing shows have proven this country, as far as foreign affairs and leadership, is very weak. Why do you think China's standing up to us, North Korea and Iran and Russia? Democrats have refused to ever talk to Russia or Putin. The last one that really talked to him before Trump was Reagan. And he talked Gorbachev into saying, you know what, maybe I don't need to be communist. Maybe we can do social freedom thing. Maybe communist isn't working. But it was the fact that Reagan went over and talked to him. Reagan was able to go around and talk to many leaders. The Democrats refused to because everybody's the enemy. And Iran, give me a break, Kamala Harris. You guys have been giving them money, millions of dollars for years under the JPOA. And where do you think that money's going into? In Israel? We know your decision. We know your sides. We've known for years, a decade, all the way back to the Clintons, that they're not real big on Israel. They're just not big on Israel. They never have been. Otherwise, they would have went over and they would have put an embassy over there. And we're going to do it. We're going to do it. Yeah. Okay. It took Trump to get in there and get an embassy in. He put his foot down and finally did it. Why didn't Biden do it? Why didn't Obama do it? Well, wait a minute now. You got to remember when Obama swore in as presidency, he put his hand on a Muslim Bible or the Quran. That's anti-Jew, folks. As we see Muslims and Islamic extremists pouring into our country, it's about appeasing them. Because, of course, it's going to be this side or that side. I'm not saying everybody has to be a Christian, because there's just as many that wants to be a Muslim. Just as many as choose a Catholic, and I'm going to be a Baptist. You're going to be a Christian, I'm going to be an atheist. Because we have the choice. And in the United States of America, we're given the choice under the freedom in our flag that we could be what we want to be, the freedom to choose. And as we're watching our freedoms be taken away, it's under, hey, you know what? We'll pay for your college. Hey, we'll give you a welfare check. Hey, if you're a criminal and you know what, maybe you've just been treated badly all your life, we're going to let you go and let you do it again. And hey, if you're a terrorist in another country, come to America. That's not what our forefathers were all about. Our forefathers was about us being strong and having foreign affairs to fight off our enemies. The ability to fight off our enemies and bring all of our manufacturing here to be able to be sustainable in our country. Yeah, William says freedom to find survival. I know, William, but you're going to be going tomorrow. And I'm about ready to close down for the night. I'm in a t-shirt tonight. I just jumped on. I just wanted to jump in and say, Kamala Harris, you're full of shit. You lied, you've cheated us, and not one time tonight, not one time did you say that the Biden administration has been wrong and you didn't agree with them. Why? Because you're all for it. You're all for to put the Democrat, the Hillary Clinton as your advisor with Susan Rice and Obama and Holder. You're all going to get together and you're going to bring us down to a one world order with George Soros. That's it for tonight, folks. And please share. Hit that like button. I'm spot on tonight. And I'm pretty sure William's going to have a lot more. Tomorrow is 9/11, folks. Little tribute when we first start. But come on in, and I want to hear your comments about tonight. Because when you're lied to and you see it, you see the truth. When you're lied to and you don't see it, I blame the media. The media has lied to you for so long. It's time for the media to step back. And you know what? If the Democrats have a meltdown, I post a thing that looks like Trump could be maybe a winner. Or is Russia, China, Iran, and whoever going to interrupt our voting process? So, think about tonight and come on in tomorrow with me and William. And I'd like a lot of comments. If anything, leave a lot of comments or questions on our Facebook or even on our YouTube. I know everybody has a lot of questions. It's about foreign policy. I'm sorry, William. This is all about foreign policy. And if we don't correct our foreign policy and our economy. Like Goldman Sachs said, this is a depression. If we don't fix it, we're into communism.